It's Donna, and I am thrilled that we're here for another day for February. It'd be nice if I knew how to pronounce the name right. February's Learning to Love Yourself Challenge. And today's topic is going to be talking about the stories that we tell ourselves. Each and every one of us have a very distinct, what I would call an inner, what I would say podcast. We have our own inner podcast that we tell ourselves, and we have stories about what we believe to be true or what we believe not to be true. Now, a lot of times our feelings feel like they're the truth. However, I have a saying that says feelings are not facts. So I want you to this week to really get deep down inside and listen to that inner language that your brain is telling you. Is your inner language one that's lifting you up and bringing you joy and is telling you what a beautiful person you are? Or is your inner language throwing you down, right? And the stories that we tell. So we spoke about the inner language the other day, bringing us up or lifting us down, or throwing us down rather. But now what we have are the stories. So the stories may be something like this. Every time I try something, I don't do it right. Or I've always had a problem dating. Or I'm not really good with money, not really my thing. Or I'm not really a sociable person. I'm more of an introvert. And what I would ask you is that the truth? Is that a story you've been telling yourself? Because we could go back to the people that surrounded us the most, which are our parents, which are schools, friends, our social justice system in a sense, and we get messages and things that affected us way back when we were children, or things that we've heard when we're children, will sometimes lay a seed in our brain and will create stories that aren't real. I'll give you a perfect example, and I love to use money as an example because it's a simple thing that most people could really understand the concept and get it. So when I was little, my parents would have said many times, you would have heard this coming out of their mouth, which is, money doesn't grow on trees. And I'm sure many of you have had that or have heard that before. So now in my adult life, as I got older, what ended up happening is, if I wanted to purchase something or I wanted to buy something that my brain would have conditioned to say that's a little much or that's a lot of money, what I would hear the voice say to myself is, money doesn't grow on trees. You can't afford that. Don't buy that. But then I would say, but it really wasn't the truth, because if I would look at my bank account, I could certainly afford it, but my story was telling me don't do it. So it's the same thing when it comes to loving ourselves. What's the story that you tell yourself? Do you tell yourself that you're beautiful, that you're strong, that you're worth so more than any diamonds or rubies or gold? Or do you tell yourself, man, you could have done it better? Or you know what, this is just not going to be for you, this game of life, and you're just destined to lose. It's kind of like Murphy's Law for you. It's always, something's always going wrong, because that's not the truth. So what I want you to do this week actually is really be attuned to the stories that you tell yourself. Stop. When you tell yourself a story, stop, and in your mind, you don't have to say it out loud because we don't want anybody thinking that, you've gone off the other end, but stop and tell yourself, or ask yourself, is this true? Is this fact, or is this feeling? And if in fact it is a feeling, ask yourself, how can I turn this around? Is there another story that I could tell myself to lift myself up? Because ladies, here's one thing that I'm going to tell you for sure. A lot of times we look for others to help align us. We look for others to help lift us, especially in our partner. And you may find that your knight in shining armor was actually an idiot wrapped in tinfoil. And if you don't get this thing called love within yourself right, and you don't get it where it's vibrating at the highest possible point for yourself, you're going to keep attracting the same type of guy over and over again. What I often see and what I often say is that this love thing is so important to yourself that if you don't love yourself and you don't send that energy out, you may actually attract your ex-husband 10 times over again. So It's time. It's time to begin loving you. You've bestowed love on everybody in your life, and now it's your time. So with that said, that's your homework, ladies. Go out, listen to the stories that you tell yourself, check yourself at the door, find out if those stories are actually fact or if they're real, or if they're feelings or if they're fact. Find out which one they are for you, and then begin to change your story. Because if your story isn't lifting you up and you're not talking to yourself in a loving way, think about it, step back and say, how would I want my partner to speak to me? Or how would I want other people to speak to me? How would I want that feeling to feel? And that's how I want you to begin to speak to yourself. So with that said, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.